Aha. What's up? What's up?
Hello.
What's going on, everyone?
Made it just in time.
I pressed a button that I shouldn't
She
have.
pressed the button. It closed out the whole screen. So yeah.
Oh, see, you know what?
And I have
That happened to me for a second also. But just wanted to welcome everybody joining us virtually. We are going to be talking about creating craft memories abroad, just from our particular travels, how we travel, what we look for when we hop off that flight, train, plane, or boat. And I have three wonderful guests joining me. Myself, I'm Beamon of Black Beer Travelers, located here or in San Diego. Here for me, elsewhere for y'all. We're gonna start with my going to my right with Hoyt from Hopping Out. What up?
What's going on? Like I said, my name's Hoyt Nunley. I'm local here in Atlanta. I'm a beer lover. Ever since I started back in 2012 when I started working at Yard House. And I was like, hey, I got to learn more about this beer. I have a company called Hopping Out. It's an adult beverage education and travel business. But beer is my heart. Beer is my heart.
Nice, nice. Thank you. I'm glad you could join us. And below we have Sam and Sarah. Can you please tell us all about your travel experience and the brewery that you represent?
Yeah, so we're the co-founders and owners of Elsewhere Brewing Company. It's in Atlanta as well, so we're probably not too far from Hoyt right now in Atlanta. Yeah, we basically traveled for about a year and a half after I got out of the Army, and we wanted to get into craft beer and open our brewery. And Sarah has a marketing background and thought that we should travel for a few years, kind of figure out what we want to do, develop the brand. Got back to Atlanta and kind of in 2019 and started like going through the business process. So
Yeah, and Elsewhere is basically a culmination of all food, beer, and atmosphere components that we've taken from elsewhere. So we are just on the travel train with y'all and obviously love beer.
Nice. Thanks to the Facebook user. Said cheers already. Question: does everybody have a beer near that they want to crack open or something open already? Okay, I'll start with Sam and Sarah. What are y'all over there drinking?
We drink a lot of lagers. So yeah, like selfish plug. Our own beer because it's free for us.
free.
So I'm drinking a industrial lager. It's basically our take on a modern day Pilsner. Super light, as we say, crushable. We're going to the gym after this, so I'm having a very light beverage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sam doesn't seem like that may happen just yet.
We'll see how this goes. Yeah, I'm just drinking our European Pilsner. It's a little bit more bitter than our American Pilsner, but it's just super light, crushable, good for hot Georgia days.
Okay, nice. What about you, Hoyt?
So last week I met up with two people that were owners of a brewery, and they gave me some beer. Right here, I have the
oh my god, this
Elsewhere Dark Czech Lager, which I'm going to be drinking. I was like, it's a great time. I've had it before. It's 4.7%, really easy drinking. Even though it's a little dark, it's great. Even though it's about 90 degrees, almost 90 degrees in Atlanta right now. So I'm pouring up my beer. I'll be ready to drink it, and let's go.
See, now this was completely unplanned, but I liked how it all came together. We have literally 4 different kinds of lagers because I am also about to pop open an Italian Pilsner from Crown and Hop. So I've had this one before. It's delicious. It's dry hop Pilsner. I forget the hop that they use, but beautiful floral attributes. Still super crushable, like light cracker breadiness. And like that clarity is amazing. So
Team lager.
Yeah.
Yeah, team lager.
Lagers.
Okay. Getting into the first, clearly we're all drinking lagers right now. It's like what was your first like international experience, like really like diving into the lager train outside of the Americas? And that's an open question for anyone.
Do you want to start?
You can start because
Okay.
Sam lived in Italy when I first met him, so he was kind of exposed to European. beer
Yeah,
before
I guess I definitely started
I
to
was-
drink European lagers. I was in the army and stationed there. Definitely started to get into like some European lagers, but mostly just like the cheap domestic stuff that you'd come across. I'd say like when we returned to Europe in like 2018, while we were traveling, we were in Europe for about 6 months. We started to really get into lagers when we got to Germany. We had been in Belgium before that for about a month. And so we were, very well versed in Belgian beer. But once we got to Germany, it was like, it was just lagers everywhere. And it was, I just remember being down in Bamberg, Germany, where they kind of do some smoked lagers. And I just didn't realize how much variation there was within lagers. I just growing up always thought of Coors. That's what my parents would drink. So, when we got into craft beer, it was kind of more in the IPAs, the stouts, just kind of the more, I guess, flavorful stuff, for lack of a better term. But
Right.
over time, after you drink thousands and thousands of beers, I guess I've come to the not realization, but just kind of the preference to kind of just drink something that I can, really enjoy. It doesn't exhaust my palate. I can have a few of them. So I guess the lagers are kind of a grown-up decision for me in a way.
Okay.
Because I didn't really start. I always appreciated a lager, but I didn't have a love for them really until we went to Europe. And at that time, it was like there were no. I mean, if you go to Germany, unless you're going into like a craft beer brewery in Berlin, like there's no IPAs or pale ales anywhere in Germany outside of that. So it was kind of like the main option. And by the end of it, I was like converted. I was like, all right, this is the new water. This is the new quencher for beer on a daily basis. So now most of the time I drink mostly lager. So.
Okay. And you mentioned Germany often in your travel experiences. Funny enough, Hoy, if you had the opportunity to fly somewhere right now, where would you go and why?
It definitely would be Munich. So I used to be a craft beer ambassador for distributor here in Atlanta. So I sold craft beer and better beer. And we had a couple of the Munich brands. We had Hofbrau, we had Hawkershore. We also had Erdinger, which is not in Munich, but some great German beer. Just going back to the basis of beer, just the four main ingredients, the hops, the water, the yeast, and the malts, just the four ingredients, and just how much you can do from it. Manipulating those four ingredients, and Munich has been doing it for hundreds of years, and they're one of the best at doing it. So that's where I'm hopping on the plane to go to go drink some beer.
It's a good place to drink.
And aren't you trying to get over to Oktoberfest?
Yes, working on Oktoberfest. I did see that it is actually happening this year. The last 2 years, it has been canceled. So I'm trying to get over there myself this year. Next year, looking to bring a group with me. Let's go party it and drink beer at Oktoberfest. So yeah,
that's
super
gonna be
cool.
good. Yeah, that's gonna be good.
Nice. Like I've never been to Oktoberfest myself. It's always somewhere I want to go, and I actually have a coworker planning to go this year. But one of my favorite places to always connect through was Frankfurt, because like you could have a 6-9 hour layover, just like check your bag in like a locker and then hop on the train, and just see some of the cool like microbreweries like right there downtown. And like that makes me think about all the experiences like you have when you're traveling. How do people figure out exactly where they want to go when they're arriving in a new city and they may have just like a small amount of time? uh Anybody want to share their experiences?
I'll go. A lot of my experiences are domestic. So if I know I'm going to a city, one thing I kind of look up beforehand, just just get on Google and like top breweries in this city. And so it's like, hey, this looks like a great place I want to go. Or if it's just something I just happen to be somewhere, I literally just put in my phone breweries near me, and then breweries pop up. I go to their website, look at their tab list. I'm like, that's where I'm going. Because a lot of times every city has larger breweries that everyone knows about, but there's so many smaller ones that make great beer that may not have the notoriety of all the rest of the beers. I mean, the breweries. So it's just a great way to find out what's near me and just go there. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, too, when you can just quickly go to Google and then scroll quickly, you can get a feel for a vibe really quickly just looking through Google Photos. So you know when you look at 10 breweries on your Google list and you start flipping through, and you can quickly see, okay, this kind of looks like the standard brewery that I've been to 100 times, and then you can quickly see the tap list and be like, all right, there's a little more, if there's more predictability, maybe you're going to look for something a little bit more different with more variety. So I still use Google, like you, Hoyt, for most things. Now, if we're going out of country, I think the research can be a little bit more extensive. So finding like a single good resource. So like
we used Camera, the campaign for Real Ale. It's an English-based, like UK-based organization, but they've got a really great book about Belgium, the best beers of Belgium. I used an edition from 2014. It was like epic. That's how we traveled through Belgium. And then they have great books on the UK, obviously. And so like we literally, when we were in the UK, when we were in Belgium for a month, we just had that book, and that's how we basically kind of planned the trip. And then we used Google to reach out to people to get phone numbers and all that, or emails and Facebooks and all that jazz. And then we did the same thing with the cameras. They've got a cool the best pubs and breweries in the UK basically, and it's all kind of more focused on real ale, like kind of like the cask ale kind of thing. And so we used those resources plus Google. When we were in Germany and in the Czech Republic, that was more like getting on Google and like searching, and I came across some weird websites and stuff like that. It looked like from 99, 2001. It just kind of looked put together by somebody who didn't know what they were doing. Like a lot of text, not a lot of pictures or design, but it was incredible. Like we came across some of the best beer in Germany and the Czech through this random dude's, looked kind of like a blog from the early 2000s.
So to one of your questions that you asked, not to jump ahead, but to kind of tie this question to it, where is the first place we stop when we go anywhere? It's usually some sort of craft beer bar hub, not necessarily a brewery sometimes, but we go to a credible place. So then when we talk to the bartenders, that's where we get our list of like, what places do we have to go while we're in the city? And usually we can get that very quickly, and it's a trusted, source.
They know what they're talking. And kind of like what Hoyt was saying, they're not going to tell you about the big breweries because they know you already know about those. It's nice. They're like, maybe they'll tell you one of the big breweries you ought to go to because the beer's really good. But then they're going to tell you 3 or 4 that are, super small systems, only do draft beer and crowlers or something like that. And it's just, epic beer that is a little bit more of an intimate experience. So
yeah, like a big focus on like beer traveling and just traveling in general is like meeting people in a particular area that you are at the local watering hole and having those conversations. I know there was a point in which I was just doing like a 2-week trip through like Central Europe, and the first place I would go would be like the Hard Rock Cafe, and I'll just sit at the bar and talk to the staff. And like,
because they speak English too.
Yeah. English, and they live there. And so like if you go to wherever like the service staff, the people in the service industry are working at, you're going to have a great time and really get a more authentic experience of that culture, that region. And like you're going to run into people that they know, that it's like, oh yeah, you met this person. It's a becomes a collaborative experience, no matter how much time or how little time you have there. Yeah. So, let's see. What are some of everyone's like next travel plans? Like, where are they looking to go right now?
Wait, you want to start?
So, of course, I have little trips to different cities, but a big thing I'm trying to working on going to is at the end of July, going to the Toronto Beer Festival. Of course, in Toronto, Canada. I really like traveling to go to beer festivals because you can get a lot of breweries that are regional that, like I said, I live in Atlanta, that I won't be able to get here, but that may have a great presence in another city. So in a short amount of time, you're able to try a lot of different breweries. And from there, if you're staying another day or two, you can actually go to that brewery and visit. Like
What's the
if you
story
came,
behind that one?
say it again.
What's the story behind that festival? Like anything special? Like number of years, or you just found it?
I mean, it's been going on. It's Canada's biggest beer festival.
Wow. Okay.
It's Canada, so you have to go during the summer, otherwise it's covered in snow. And I'm from Atlanta. I don't do snow. So and right now, I know on Friday night, Nas is performing there. So I was like, hey, that sounds awesome.
Wow.
Just a fun time. Look, international trip. The flight's not too long, especially for international travel. And while you're there, of course, you hit the beer fest, but you can do some sightseeing as well. So
cool. Do they feature mostly Canadian beer at this festival, or do they do a little bit of everything around the world?
It's a little bit of everything. So Canadian, more international. A lot of the craft beers here in America, a lot of them don't sell internationally. Some do, but it's a good variety of like beers of the world.
That's cool.
That's
cool. Yeah.
We're playing like everyone else, trying to play a little bit of catch up on travel this year. So as a team, I think our goal yearly for Elsewhere is to visit like a different part of the US with our management team and kind of learn about the beer in the different regions. And none of us have really been up to the Northeast yet. It's kind of like the one region where like we haven't actually drink the beer from Vermont,
not to go drink beer. Yeah.
So we're gonna try and get up there, probably late summer, hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Also looking at the Great American Beer Festival. Hopefully, we keep hearing insiders tell us that the festival is cool, but a lot of the fun stuff actually happens at the bars outside of the festival, where a lot of
that's the case.
Sponsors go and they buy all the beers for free for people that come, which sounds awesome. So, and then as a company, we're trying to plan a trip right now to Argentina in January to take guests with us, which is a very big trip. So we're kind of going through the motions right now of what that would look like as far as getting people to commit. We have a friend that lives there and he is a chef and a trip guide. So he's been helping us plan the whole trip. And we have done this trip to, it's a part of Patagonia in Argentina. And so we're working on that for January next year. So hopefully that works out.
Oh yeah, that sounds like it's going to be fairly complicated to organize just to get people down there, and then moving through the country, like train, bus, probably buses, like guides, places to stay, and that sounds like fun. That reminds me of like my trip to Costa Rica, which was super marvelous. Like it was basically. I always take red eyes because I like to show up places in the morning and just keep going. And I think I landed at like 7 a.m. And then I was in a brewing facility by like 9 a.m.
That's
like dedication.
Yeah, like hanging out with
Who
the
needs
brewers.
sleep? Who needs sleep when you have beer? Who needs sleep?
Yeah, you sleep on the plane. But like those things come together with like knowing someone in country or having like connections that introduce you, and like the service industry just being so welcoming. So it's great how you're pulling that all together in Argentina. Um, like if it comes to my next travels, I'm really just trying to piece together a random international trip. Either it may be Canada or like Mexico. I just need to go somewhere so I could reestablish my global entry. But after that, after yeah, global entry is a very important thing once you're traveling abroad. Just the lines, just general access, pre-check for like $100 and some time for them to like research your background. You can get this for 5 years. Highly recommend it. But I really want.
That's a good plug though.
Yeah.
And then if you're getting it through your credit card or whatever, we tell everyone priority pass.
Yep.
The lounge life.
We have a question. Craft beer hotels like Brewdog and the others. I've heard about them. Think there are only 2 or 3 breweries that also have hotels in the U.S. I haven't experienced one. Have anybody else here?
So we've been to McMenamins up in the Northeast, or pardon me, the Northwest. It's they've got a ton of spots in right before I got out of the Army, I was stationed in Washington State. So we visited a lot of the McMenamins locations in Oregon and Washington.
They're craft brewers that open up locations in old, like rundown historic schoolhouses and old Elks lodges, and they take these buildings and craft beer is a component to it, but they also open like cigar lounges and like all these really cool things in these old buildings. So that, and then I think what a lot of these places have taken this idea from is like back to like England, where we've stayed at hotels above. They're not even hotels; it's like 4 rooms above, like
guest house,
like a bar that brews its own beer.
Right.
Countryside of England. So that's what we've experienced, and those are some of the most cool experiences for sure. But we haven't done anything on like such a commercial scale.
We haven't done the Brewdog. I'd highly recommend the McMenamins though. Like the beer is nothing special. I wouldn't even go there to drink the beer. It's just the experience is just pretty cool.
And then I know places in the Northeast are doing things like this too, where they have like more of English style pub houses that also have lodging.
Oh yeah, or Blackberry Farms up in Tennessee. They've got a whole resort, but that's
yeah.
When focusing on like an experience, what's the best way to really make that experience more valuable when you get to a spot? Are you trying to just like Uber, hop from car to car, get to location? Are you taking time to like walk through the city to see the sights, or are you just like just going from like city to city and just trying to move as quickly? Like what's the route that you make for yourself to actually really focus on the experience?
Well, I like to do like if I'm in a city, I like to focus on that city's beer. Many of these cities have maybe districts that may have 2 or 3 breweries there or a great beer bar. So you start off early afternoon, get dropped off by Uber, and then you just can walk around. You can visit a couple breweries, you can hit a couple bars, get some food, and just make a day out of it. You may think you're moving fast, like, hey, I want to be at this brewery by this time, but you're somewhere, you're like, I'm having a great time. I'm gonna stay here a little bit longer, have a couple more beers, have a great time. By the end of the night, you're like, okay, now I can get my Uber back to my hotel. Got home safe. I'm gonna sleep well tonight because I had a great day. And so just being able to visit a lot of places, or maybe not a lot, but a couple places in the same area. Yeah. I like to do that because, and usually all those people, all the brewery owners, the workers know each other, and they will tell you like, hey, I know you have here, you should go down the street and try this beer over there. If you like that one, you'll love this one at their place as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say we travel pretty much the same. Before I'll start I'm kind of a nerd, and I'll make a Google map and like kind of drop all the pins on the map. And then from there I can go like, all right, if I'm leaving the airport, we'll get an Uber to that area, hit a couple places. And I love to walk, one, because it like keeps you from getting too drunk. You're like, I'll sober up between that bar and that bar and that bar. And then if it's a city that's like a little more spread out, like Atlanta or Denver, yeah, definitely like picking a couple pockets and then walking around those areas. Yeah, so definitely by foot.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have access to like a subway or anything, obviously that's ideal. But in cities like Atlanta, we don't have that luxury for it to get us around everywhere.
Yeah, you can't get along.
Yeah, the MARTA doesn't really connect you to the breweries.
Not really.
Not really. Not brewery friendly.
Yeah, I definitely feel you. I've made a number of Google Maps based upon like different cities or even like a random day. It's like just plot a line or a full like map that entails like different symbols to say I'm taking a flight here, I'm taking a train there, and then you just kind of spread out until I definitely recommend taking that as a resource. This is one large like plug for Google Maps.
Yeah.
Honestly, their ability to integrate the public transportation in every city is pretty impressive too. Like buses can be kind of intimidating in foreign countries and stuff, but like with Google's app you can literally figure out public transportation like in Europe, or we've done it in Bariloche, Patagonia. It wasn't a good transportation system to begin with, but like we still knew what bus we needed to get on, and so it's and
it makes it flexible where you may not go to everything on your map, but if you're walking and you're like, I'm kind of hungry, and you open your map up and you're like, that bartender recommended that place, I'm walking by it, I plotted on my map. Like it just makes things a lot easier to, more flexible in navigating and stopping.
Here's a question. We're talking about how easy it can be. What are some of the worst like cities or countries you've been in for transportation and just trying to get around from your own perspective? Like anywhere that you have trouble, or it was just harder for you to like figure out how to get where you were going?
For us, all of South America, which I think is kind of why we're trying to take people there, because now that we have connections and plans, we're like, listen, you don't got to suffer like we have through all of the travels down there. I mean, everything is just not dependable like it is here in the United States or in Europe. It's always like, if it shows, it shows, kind of situation. And that's really hard when you're traveling on, like on a schedule, on time. That can start to cut time out of your trip really quickly. So once you get out of like Buenos Aires or any of the bigger cities, that's when it really starts to become
Patagonia was ridiculous. Like we literally, like the bus that we wanted to get on would just be full and they just drive right by the stop. So we just keep walking, hoping that
it once took us
no more.
To go like 10 minutes. And just from waiting, it wasn't traffic. It was literally just, so anyway, that's our
nightmare. Yeah.
So when last year, a friend of mine had a birthday down in Cancun, and everywhere I go, I'm trying to visit a brewery. So I looked up a brewery to see how far away it was. It said it was like 2 miles away, which was, I was like, great. But then, as my Alexa tells me, that is as the crow flies, which means it's a straight line. But this brewery was on the other side of like a bay. So if I wanted to catch like an Uber or a taxi, it was like 34 minutes away, or I could catch a ferry across the water but only did it twice a day. Like, how am I supposed to get it? So, sometimes those international countries, things seem really close, but the infrastructure might not get you there as fast as you want to go.
That's a very good point.
Especially if it's somewhere near the ocean. They're like, oh, it's close. Oh, it's across Oh, it's across the water. Okay, that's a little different.
Yeah,
Swim time?
yeah, I'm not
Wow.
swimming.
Yeah. Okay. No, that haven't rented that one, but yeah, I've been there. I like the point in which you look up something on a map and then you actually try to find it in person, and it's not actually where it is on the map.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's the worst.
it's just like, oh, I was about to take all these people to a brewery that I'd never been to, but I thought it was right here. It's not. Uh,
Are you referencing somewhere like in the United States or outside or everywhere?
That was me in Costa Rica, just trying to find things. Particularly, I think one of the worst, more challenging experiences I actually had, because in Costa Rica, we had a bus that would just drive us everywhere. So if it wasn't there, then we could just drive somewhere else. But when I remember first landing in Beijing, I had like a total of like maximum 72 hours in China because I didn't get a visa then, and that's how long you could stay at that point without a visa. And so just leaving the airport, trying to get a taxi to like the Marriott hotel, and wow. Like I've been in so many situations in which I didn't speak the native tongue. It was just like that point there was like distinct like misunderstandings and directions, and it was just you just sit there and just hopefully wait to find out
Yeah,
that you made it. I think that was my most interesting point because I had that kind of similar issue anywhere I went. But I think it wasn't until like I knew I wanted to get to the Great Wall of China. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm not even going to try to figure this out. Concierge, hotel,
yep.
have them arrange everything. And I just like,
can't sound out Chinese characters. Like you're like, I can't figure this word out. Like, it looks like a picture to me.
And so like in that case, I want to recommend if you're staying in a hotel, leverage your concierge because they're going to be the point person between a lot of bookings in any situation like restaurants, experiences like drivers and so forth. If at all lost, lean on the concierge because they're there for it to be that extra kind of amenity to allow you to find your way.
Yeah, the internet's very useful, but like sometimes it takes forever to figure things out. And when you just need an answer, you're right. Like if you've got like a local person that can speak your language and give you good advice and then call other people and help plan it for you, and that's their job, and you're already paying for it because you're in the hotel. It's yeah, that's a good recommend. I always forget about that. Yeah.
So has anybody had an experience where their travel plans are just completely go awry and they have to figure out what to do next? I'm starting with Hoyt.
Travel plans that go. I've been flying a lot more lately, just going places, and sometimes flights don't work out as well as you want. It's like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have to come back in the morning. Okay, so just first of all, going into usually at the airport. If I'm there, I'm asking for some kind of local beer and also asking that bartender where to go. But just ending up places. So the travel hasn't been as bad, but I know when you go to a new city or a different city that you're not used to, there may be some traditions or something that's going on. I was at a brewery in the Tennessee mountains one time, just drinking, and of course, radio or something is playing, and all of a sudden, this song comes over the speakers, and the whole bar starts singing and screaming and yelling, and I'm like, "What is going on?" I have never heard this song. I get a little scared because I'm the only one in the room who doesn't know it. I'm like, what's about to happen? And then it ended and everybody's cheering. I'm like, what's that? So the bartender came. I was like, what just happened? It's like, you don't know? It's like, that's Rocky Top. I'm like, Rocky. That's like, this the University of Tennessee's fight song. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. She's like, yeah, that's what we sing here. I was like, well, thanks for letting me know. I'm a little less scared now, but thanks for the update.
Oh,
Wow.
unexpected cultures. Okay, yeah, you got to ride with that one.
And it's just Tennessee. It's just one state north.
Very strange.
For us, I keep referencing Patagonia because it was
a traumatic
It was
experience.
a traumatic, beautiful
The
experience.
first time we were there, it was
And
traumatic.
We were there. We were like, we will never return without a guide, and we're pretty confident travelers. We're like, we can get around Mexico, Asia,
Europe,
like we got
Asia,
it.
yeah.
But Patagonia really got us, and it ended. Well, it didn't end. Our trip stopped and had a solid turnaround.
Yeah.
After we had been planning to get to down to where everyone does their backpacking in Patagonia. It's what
closer
people,
to like Torre de Paine, like further south.
It's where like Americans and Europeans go to hike like the beautiful snow-capped peaks in Patagonia when you think of Patagonia. But as we were there and planning out our trip, we're like, all right, we got to rent a car, take a ferry across this fjord, then drive, then take another ferry and another ferry. And of course, there's a schedule. And so we get across the first ferry and we're like, cool. And then we get to the second ferry and they're trying to explain to me, which I didn't know the word for avalanche. So they're trying to tell me that an avalanche happened and wiped out the entire road for us to. And so they wiped out the road, which meant I was like, all right, we're taking a ferry, so we don't have to worry about that. But what happened is that the ferries were booked up for the next week straight because it was the only way to get by. South. So basically, we couldn't get on the ferry, and we had a friend with us that had to fly back in a week.
He flew from the United States down into
like
South America for like 10 days to do this trip with us.
So we're standing there. We had Argentinian SIM cards, so we were prepared. No cell phone service for hours. We had to book a hotel just to get Wi-Fi. No Wi-Fi that didn't work in the. They were like, it barely works. So we were definitely in a point of like desperation where we're like, we don't know what to do. Our trip is entirely wiped out. We don't have access to like
internet.
We're in a small town. The person does not speak English, like at the front desk. So what we ended up doing is we ended up backtracking to a national park that we had went to before that. So we had to turn around, go back. Yeah. And it was a really cool park.
It worked out okay.
But our plans were like,
yeah, but you're at a point where
you're like right there. Like it's like Patagonia is like one of the hardest places to get to. So to get that far and be like, there's nothing we can do. Sometimes with travel, you
gotta just go with the flow, and
you gotta be malleable. Like,
so the theme is kind of, if there's going to be a ferry involved, it's not going to be a good experience.
If we learned anything from this conversation, is ferries,
it's water crossings.
Yeah, water crossings can be challenging unless you're like Michael Phelps or something.
Yeah, I think we learned that in the Oregon Trail.
Your wagon just flipped over,
it sounds like a lot of one-way trips. I know I take a lot of one-way trips. That sounds like that was kind of a one-way trip. Like you're going just down and then you're connecting at the end.
Yep.
You especially have to be malleable and ready to like change your plans at any point. I know there was on one of my many one-way trips, I think I was flying from Lisbon through Madrid to get to Ibiza, but the night, and that was just like a one-way kind of leg to get me from Lisbon through Madrid to Ibiza, and then back through Lisbon to catch my main flight. And I think by now everybody's figured out if you have like multiple legs on a ticket and you miss one flight, they canceled the entire ticket, no matter how much you paid and what. Like that happened to me because I overslept one night because I don't know, I chose a very early flight to like hop on to get to Ibiza by the afternoon. I think the original ticket may have been $300. That replacement ticket,
$1,300.
it was like 5 or 7. It was just like, and then like I was like, but I have to do this because I have a hotel booking in another city, and an entire like other set of plans, and yo, you have to be ready to sometimes just go. And then you like your luggage get lost. And so you're waiting for it to show up. But I'm just like, I have 2 days in Ibiza. I am not sitting at this airport.
Yeah.
And I've already paid upwards to like an extra like 500 that I wasn't planning on it.
But you got a credit card, and you know what? Like, just
having a travel credit card that has no international fee on it, another key thing to do. Because once you get out of the States, you don't always want to have to focus on trying to like move your money between currencies, or you're going to need to have some amount of monetary value, cash on you based upon the area. But in times of just like moving quickly with like a high value purchase, you have to be able to go.
Right.
And that was a fun time, but like I woke up and I was like, flight miss, new ticket has to be purchased, bag gets lost, so I have to like, I'm leaving the airport. I rent a car just because it's cheaper to rent a car than to like do taxi back and forth between the airports.
That's crazy.
Mind you, but it's I am in Ibiza, so we're in Spain. It's all like stick. I drive stick, but it's a stick on the other side.
That happened to me too. Yeah.
So you have to be able to like roll with the punches, and like if you can't drive a stick, I recommend learning how to, because that's all you're going to run into in other countries. Automatics are a luxury.
Hey.
Yeah, if you know how to drive a manual, it'll save you, 50% probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So other things to focus on. So let's see. What are some of your favorite cities to go to and why? I'm going with Sarah.
Sarah?
Yep, Sarah.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
My favorite cities, aside from beer, I would say my favorite city to just like that we could just go tomorrow. I love Mexico City, and Oaxaca City as well. I think Mexico is just such a fun, eclectic place. The food is the best. Beers, even if they're oxidized Mexican beers, they're $1 and they still taste delicious in Mexico with the heat.
That's the style for the region.
Exactly. We just did a off-flavor tasting earlier over at Firemaker for the Craft Beer Con, and so they were referencing Corona, and I'm like, but I love Corona, like in the right setting,
Yeah.
So I'd say that there in Brussels is like the most fun beer city, where you just can get out of the airport, and with all of the Belgian beer cafes, you just have the most unique beer drinking experience, I think, in Europe, which is cool because it's so traditional, but it's so diverse and has so much character. It has like all of the craft beer feels with really old beer. So that would be my favorite places.
I'm right there with you on Brussels. One of my favorite cities to experience beer in, and I have crazy experience trying to do laundry there. Wow. But But anyway, back to
Well,
okay. So like that's another thing when you're like traveling one way, like in different cities every day. At some point, you're going to run out of clothes, or you need to like clean your clothes. And you know, you just want to do laundry. You don't want to have like the turnaround time to have the hotel do it maybe longer than you're staying in that particular area. So I was like, oh, let me just go to the laundromat up the street. And you know, everybody done their own laundry before, right? How crazy and challenging could it be? So I get into the laundromat, looks very nice, clean, and whatnot. And it's either in Dutch or what it's either Dutch or French. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, I at one point studied French, but I can't make out all these words. And then the pictures had no real colors. It was all like kind of black and white. So I couldn't tell exactly where fabric softener went or bleach went versus like actual detergent.
Right.
And they didn't actually use like euros or like francs. They use like these coins. Actually, I have one right here. I kept one. It's literally just a coin just for their laundry machines, right? They're like two slits in the middle, and I'm just looking at this completely stumped. Like I was like, I don't know how to get detergent or which one to like put in where. And this old like Dutch lady, she had to be like 85 or something, just comes in with her laundry and looks at me and does like the best she could to tell me exactly how to, all in like Dutch. And I'm just like, and slowly I felt like a child. But eventually got my things washed and like everything. But it was just like, that's one of the most challenging experiences, and also like invigorating. It's like, okay, I think I picked up everything. Yeah, so
Awesome.
laundry in other countries,
It's
one
tough.
thing it's hard.
Have you seen the on Google Translate now? The app, they have a camera and you can hold the camera over like that laundry
Yes.
machine and it can change the words in real time to English, which is so
Yes.
cool. Like on
So
menus and stuff, it's really awesome.
Another Google product that we're advertising
I
on.
know, Google.
They should sponsor the event.
What about you? Anyone else have like their favorite cities? Sam, Hoyt?
I mean, for craft beer, I honestly think Portland, Oregon is just like one of the best places in the world to drink beer. I was up there, I think last in June of 2020. 2020 at some point. And I was just shocked at how many breweries there are. It's like, and you can get everything, like incredible lagers, incredible IPAs. You could go out and get some spontaneously fermented beer at DeGard.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then you got all the wine in the Willamette Valley and stuff. So it was just, and yeah, I mean, just for me, Portland is just like a great place to go drink craft beer. You're in your own country, so it's like very easy. But yeah, the options are seemingly endless there, in my opinion.
Portland's a little like another country.
Yeah, it is weird.
I like. I've traveled up to Nashville a couple times. I like drinking beer in Nashville. They have a lot of great breweries. They've had some breweries that have started distributing here in Georgia, but it's just a lot of great breweries. It's a great town. There's a lot of fun. It kind of reminds me of like a smaller Atlanta, but it's growing fast, and it's just a great place to go drink beer. I was in Nashville this past weekend. I didn't have time to go in any breweries, but I went to a place that had like duck bowling, which is bowling that's on strings, and the lane is like maybe like 15 feet long, and it's a little ball like that big. But they had a lot of great local beers there. Also, it was like they had pinball and old video games. But it's just a great kind of eclectic city that a lot of breweries, a lot of great places to drink. If you want liquor, it's Tennessee, so you have whiskey, you got bourbon there too. So Nashville is a great place I like to go drink.
Cool. We're going there tomorrow. So
yeah, we're going there tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll hit you up for some.
Yeah, we'll get some Rex.
Places.
Okay. Here's one thing that I didn't ask. What's one city you want to go to but you haven't been to yet? Or country? And what really interests you about that, and what kind of research have you done?
So if it's for me, I'll just choose a domestic city out there with y'all. I want to go to San Diego.
What?
I'm coming out. Like, there's a lot of great beer out there.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I need to go out there. So when I was a craft beer bar, we distribute them for just a little bit. Rough Draft Brewing from out there. Mm-hmm. Just from what I've seen and heard about the beer scene out there, that's definitely a place I want to go. Give me some West Coast IPAs, some piney IPAs out there, and just have a good time.
We the SoCal did just take all 3 slots for the best at World Beer Cup for American IPAs. Yeah, it was North Park Beer Co. Then there was someone in LA, and then the other one was down, I think it was Carl Strauss. So but like San Diego came in strong with the West Coast IPAs.
Okay.
So I always that's one thing I always kind of challenge people on. So does Elsewhere have a West Coast IPA?
We do.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It was actually one of our favorite styles. I don't know if I have one in the fridge right now. I don't think I do, but yeah, we love the West Coast IPA. Like I said, we got into craft beer when we were living out in Washington State, so we kind of fell in love with the style. One that it's funny sidebar. Like when we were out visiting in Seattle in 2018, we went to like this epic bottle shop. Like I can't remember, maybe in Fremont or something like that. And I was like, what kind of West Coast IPAs? You have any IPAs that are filtered? And they were like, not really. We had one, and it was Sticky Hands from Batch 15 down in
Block 15.
Block 15.
Yeah, no, and we were like, we've been coming back here for the West Coast IPA, and y'all don't have any West Coast IPAs. Fortunately, as you know, it's a thing again. So when we opened here at the time, there were like no Atlanta breweries brewing West Coast IPAs. So we're going to roll the dice and see if people are into it. Cause I'm like, maybe people just don't want that style. Unfortunately it
sells as good as our
took a liking
hazy
to it very quickly. Yeah. So we're happy about that.
Yeah. What's actually like in terms of like the beers I drink at the brewery, it's like probably the European Pilsner and then the West Coast IPA. It's just such a great beer.
So random fact about the Southeast. The Southeast drinks more IPAs than any other region of the United States.
Wow.
We're IPA crazy down there.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Random fact, yeah.
That is wild, but it feels like that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah. After bartending,
just from what I've observed,
so
yeah.
It's mostly IPAs and stouts. I've found have been very popular here. So
and then light lagers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, we haven't been to Australia or New Zealand. New Zealand, I mean, the hop, like Utopia over there between, I mean, all of the islands there. Awesome. And then we're super into hiking. It just looks gorgeous and the people seem really nice. But it's far. It's so far. So someday that would be my place.
For me, I'd like to get up to Portland, Maine, and explore the beer scene up there. I've heard great things. So yeah.
Wow.
There's a big beer festival going on in Portland, Maine soon. It's It's what's it? Beer without beer. Beer
Beer
without
without beer.
beers.
Yeah, by Hop Culture, right?
Untapped. Say it again.
Oh, is it Untapped
Is
hosting
it
it?
Untapped? Oh, wait a minute. It's
thought
by
it-
somebody.
Pop culture.
Pop
Culture, I've
culture?
heard.
Oh,
doing
Coach.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe Hawk. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So just a lot of women brewers or women-owned breweries and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, I'm there with you. I've always wanted to get to Australia and New Zealand. That it's just so hard, like the cost.
The
The
flight's
cost.
like $2,000.
And the exchange, I mean, the exchange
Oh,
is
yeah.
not good for us.
And then a beer's gonna be like $12
Yeah,
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one to save for.
Yeah.
one I'm gonna eventually find a way over there that's not too expensive, but yeah,
Maybe a
that-
ferry. Maybe
a very long cruise on a very small boat.
It only take you a week and a half.
Yeah.
Man, like that and like Czech Republic. I've not I've not been to the Czech Republic. I've always wanted to go to Prague. It's on the list. That makes me think about the oh, someone else obviously loves Prague.
Somebody agrees.
Prague
Yeah.
is the
You do
spot.
need to get over
Prague
there.
is
It's
the spot.
crazy.
And it's cheap.
It's
so
super cheap.
Yeah.
And it's wild. Like you could literally just party all night. And then actually the beer that Hoyt's drinking is based on a beer we had in Prague. So it's
Wow. Okay.
very good beer. Yeah. There you
There's-
go.
yeah.
Shameless plug.
Elsewhere. So we probably have about like 3 minutes left. Is there anything like travel related or like beer related or like brewery related that you want to leave for anyone that's watching and or anyone that's replaying this for later? Start with Hoyt.
Like I said, you guys can follow me on Instagram. It's Hopping Out, HOPPINOUT. I do meetups, I do events. We're traveling. Come get your beer journey on with me. Let's have a great time. Let's travel the world. Let's travel the United States, and let's drink. And just come hopping out with me.
And I could tell that was slightly inspired by your fraternity.
Move to the bros. But
there you go.
a little bit. It has a little bit to go with that.
All right, I just want to give you that moment to shout that out. You know.
Yeah.
What about you two, Sarah and Sam?
Yeah, I mean we've talked a lot about Argentina. If you're interested in potentially learning more about that, our friend and chef guide, he's visiting from Argentina this next week, and he's actually doing a full-blown like cookout asado with us at Elsewhere on Sunday, May 22nd, and then the 23rd. Anyone that's interested in learning about the trip, what it could cost and look like, Monday the 23rd, we'll be having like a gathering to kind of have a discussion about that. But yeah, we always try and do stuff. We try and I love what both of you do because it's fun to get this beer exposure outside of our community to our community. So it's really fun to bring it all together. So yeah.
Thank you. And for myself, I guess just to be curious, be open to like trying new experiences. You have to be kind of agile and malleable to situations that may arise. You can't plan everything, so you have to be able to be ready to just enjoy the experience and the travel and get to know the culture, the people behind the bar, at the bar. Yeah, just have fun with it. Like clear, like everybody has like totally different travel experiences, but it's clear that between like the four people here, we've been able to pull together very similar like understandings and knowledge about just traveling the world and looking for that great beer, those great cultures and so forth. So just have fun. I know between like myself, Hopping Out, Elsewhere Brewery, you have like so many different avenues in which you could find new experiences. So I want to thank you three for joining me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for hosting.
Beat mine. I'm coming out to San Diego. I need you to be my tour guide.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'm here most of the time unless I'm traveling for something else. But I don't see myself traveling outside of San Diego up until I think July, and unless something changes for work. So
Okay.
I'm here. Just let me know.
Cool.
Sounds good.
I'm let the rest just fly to the man behind the scenes. Linux, if this stops going live, we'll find out. But did everybody else finish their beer? Because mine's empty.
Well, I'm empty. Yeah. Now I gotta go to the gym, I guess.
Hey guys,
Being responsible.
fantastic show. I'm getting ready to end the session. I don't want to just cut it off. You know what I mean? So I send you guys a little note. I reached out to you guys either on LinkedIn or Instagram. I think I was already connected to some of y'all already. So let me jump on camera real quick just to say hello.
The God voice.
Yeah, see
Oh
the man
man,
behind
I
the
appreciate
camera.
it. Look, I was lucky when I hit puberty and started talking on the phone to friends. That voice came through. Like, oh, wait, hello. So yeah, it's been awesome. Fantastic session, guys. I think this is extremely important. A lot of people want to incorporate, obviously, the travel component and going local globally, I guess. So awesome. All right, so I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys. I don't know if you guys are doing any more of the sessions. Those of y'all in town, and San Diego does have a killer scene. Yeah, I mean it's legendary. So for sure.
Gorgeous too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go try to crash Ale's beer dinner tonight, and then I'm gonna see if I can make it to some.
Do it and tell him I sent you. Tell him I sent you.
I told him I was gonna crash it last night. I said, look, I gotta get into this thing. I need to get in. So, all right, y'all. I look forward to connecting with y'all some more, and hopefully seeing y'all around the conference again. And next year, I think this is going to be something that's going to become a staple.
Cool. Right.
And so it's a pleasure, y'all. All right, I'm going to end the session and let y'all get on y'all way. Thanks, everybody.
Cool. Thanks so much. Yeah.
Right. I'm definitely coming next time I'm in town.
Please do.
And actually, send us your address. We'll ship you some beer.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Lennox, are you here in Atlanta?
I'm here. I just got back from New York. I landed yesterday. Yeah.
Come on over.
Yeah. I definitely got to come by for sure. Yeah. So yeah, I'm in town. I've been here since 2003. So, and I just kind of go back and forth. Yeah, to check on mom. So yeah. All right, y'all. Have a good one and stay safe out there. Cheers.
Sounds good. Thanks.